Hi, welcome back to the workshop and another episode with James Hilton's Steadicam. So apologies if there's any camera shake. I'm actually holding the phone. I'm going to do a bit of a workshop tour. We haven't had one for a while. There's plenty of things to take a look at and share with you all. I hope you find this interesting. No operation, I'm afraid, today. We're just going to walk through a couple of projects, look at some layouts you'll have seen before, layouts that haven't been seen on video but have been seen on the blog. So hopefully a bit of something for everybody, and yeah, a chance to I suppose to tease what might be coming in the coming weeks and months as they do approach some sort of completion. So yeah, happy Friday. Hope you enjoy the video. So taking this slightly elevated look around, you can see what we're up to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1 that you can't see, 6 layouts in progress, all my own projects, and then we've got some other various larger scale models here, which we'll talk about as well. So yeah, let's start here with these Rustins. These are the large scale Rustins I'm building in 7/8 scale. They're based on a Rustin 4448, which was a Ministry of Munitions prototype, I think. So they would originally have had an exhaust conditioner on the back. And these are all been modelled as if they're post that sort of use. And so they've all got, if we flip down the back, you can see they've all got different exhaust systems to replace that. So yeah, they're all coming along really nicely. 3 of them have got a digital sound system fitted that I showed in the Rustin LP videos that are on the channel. So they operate the same sort of thing. Basically, it's got like a DCC decoder that piggybacks off the radio control, so you get a really nice driving experience. So they're a mix of media. There's 3D printed parts here, and the axle boxes, top of the radiators, the etched parts, etched radiator grille. There's some bought-in parts as well. So the lights are bought in from SLR models. The gearbox casing here is bought in from Dean Goods, I think it is. But obviously everything else is my own design. Oh, and sorry, the Model Earth tractor seats, how could we forget those? There's also etched metal. So we've got etched metal sides here, and then all the scratch building. So almost everything else you see is effectively a scratch build. So they're coming together really nicely. Looking forward to seeing those finished off. You'll notice no 2 are the same either. We've got 3 different greens and a red oxide. And the finish at the moment looks quite patchy. What they'll do is they've all got various sort of sheen levels on them, but they'll all get knocked back with a sort of satin lacquer, which will give them a unifying sort of look to them before they get weathered. So yeah, they don't need to be perfectly gloss for that to work. And we'll flip round here. The only other sort of work in progress from a customer perspective is these binny wagons. They're heavily reworked binny wagons, and they've got some custom etched brake components. So the V hanger, the hangers here, so the V hangers and the ratchet levers, that's etched. 2 different styles. We've got like this, and then just a plain lever. And then obviously the whole wagon's been reworked as well, so to improve the sort of adherence to prototypes. We've got rounded corners on the edges here. The rivets and well, there were actually bolt heads on the binny, have all been removed and replaced with rivets as per the prototype, and they've been finished. 3 in a GVT livery and 1 in the private owned livery. That hasn't had a lacquer coat yet, and they all need weathering. But yeah, they're looking really good, very impressive. And then here, this is the latest thing that's arrived, is for my own, for Beaverbrook, which is up here. This U18B, sorry, this is the U18B, this is a U23B, a General Electric model. This is an Atlas HO scale example. It's going to be digital fitted and all that as usual, obviously brought up to the same sort of standards. I think it's quite an old tooling now, but it looks great, really nice and crisp, lovely flush glazing. I've got some etched wipers to fit, replacement horn, bell, things like that. It's going to be decorated as if it was Conrail, but is now in HMLX, Hilton and Mears leasing service. So yeah, some custom decals to go on there as well. And space in the back here for a really nice big speaker, which is going to be exciting to get that moving forwards. So yeah, just paired with the U18B, which has been knocking around for some time now. Lovely intermounting model, that one. But you can see the difference in length. The U23B and the U30 and the U33, I think, all shared the same frame length, whereas the U18Bs were shorter. This had a 12-cylinder engine. The more higher horsepower ones had a 16. I think this has only got an 8-cylinder. So it's going to be interesting to hear the difference in sounds with these two. This is still one of my favourite models on the layout. This is just a chance to do some work with Chris on sort of sharing a project across the Atlantic, so that's good fun. So yeah, let's take a look at Beaverbrook. So Beaverbrook is rather full at the moment of cement hoppers. I've got this idea. I mean, if you're familiar with Beaverbrook, it's not a complicated layout. Effectively, you've got trains arrive, but they don't really. Obviously, there's nothing down there. It's a brick wall. So trains arrive into this front track where the wagons are, and then get switched. And usually there's a couple here that, and then we've got the co-op mill down here. So you exchange loads and empties effectively. But I had this vision that perhaps we could imagine that the transloader cement had taken off to the point where the layout effectively becomes flooded with cement hoppers, and then that deliberately snarls up the one or two cars that occasionally get switched out at the co-op mill. So it's just an idea I had, and these are on sale, or I've got them for a good price from Rails in their second-hand section. So the GT hopper will just get faded and weathered, but the two Union Pacific cars are going to get rubbed down and painted in the Ballard and Wantage. So they're going to feature some Ballard and Wantage markings, which I've been drawing up. So nothing else really happening on Beaverbrook. I keep meaning to build that cardboard structure at the back, so that's probably going to happen over Easter. We've still got this structure here is still in primer, so small steps. But I've been enjoying operating it again, which spurred on the purchase of the U23B. So Lockdo's here, just underneath. Lovely place to visit. 26010. Lovely last model I've done for the Scottish stuff, but nothing new otherwise there. And Denton Road. So Denton Road hasn't appeared in video before. It has appeared on the blog several times. It's another Mosslander shelf. Not that you'd necessarily believe it from the amount that we've managed to cram in here. It's inspired by train travel through the north, through Manchester and Leeds. We've got a canal on the left here, a sort of road underpass here, and a sort of rationalised rail system on the top, with just one, the express platform, no longer extends down here, so the Class 90 can appear. I'm just scratch building some catenary at the minute. So that's nice to see that coming forward. So there's nothing painted on there, that's all just raw styrene at the minute. But yeah, I really like the composition. And there's some really neat touches, like there's a little street light under here, there's lights under the canopy, I don't know if you can see that at the back there. And the colour light signal there works as well. So yeah, it's a work in progress. And then we spin round, and up the top we've got Gerald Road, the Bristol 1970s setting, which is basically the same size as Paxton Road, but a very different setting. So Paxton Road at the moment, home to my current muse. I absolutely love this thing. The Class 03 that I've repainted based on the one that was used at Boston Docks in the 90s. And then those Revolution flat container cars with the coal containers. This one's been weathered, the other two are a work in progress. So yeah, I've been enjoying that. And then Coalbridge Street. So Coalbridge Street hasn't appeared on video before. There's plenty written about it on the blog. Obviously it's over-engined at the minute with both of them posed on there. I was just testing the U18B earlier, so I just moved them out of the way. Yeah, it's based in New England, nowhere in particular. A sort of loosely Wantage Terminal Company, WTCO, which is like the Wantage Tramway. If you notice, the lettering is very similar and the colours very similar. And although we've got Claremont and Concord, and we've got a sign that looks strangely like the La Valley sign at Claremont, where that says Claremont Building Supply, but it's funny it says Wantage. But anyway, yeah, it's just two tracks, two turnouts again. So it's Pontedoulis. It's the same track plan as Pontedoulis. It's the same track plan as Kohlenbach-Rucker. So yeah, it's a nice little thing, little self-contained layout. I mismeasured things it happens to the best of us. So I've had to add a little sort of extra bit here, which I'll need to add some support to at some point, but it's fine for putting a wagon on. Just allows you to actually get the loco and the boxcar off the layout when you're playing with it. And then underneath, there's Wrexham, which is still just a lovely thing. I do enjoy just plugging the lights in there and just sort of taking in the scene. Because when you're sat down in the chair and you spin around, you know, it's at eye level. It's lovely. But at the moment, the plug is plugged into Paxton Road, so you know that's where we are. So there you go. A bit of a whistle-stop tour of what's going on here. Some customer projects. Ooh, mind my footing. And the layouts that I share this wonderful space with. You know, and obviously a lot of books. And there's more next door. I really do enjoy a book on a Saturday morning with a dog, and that's coming up very shortly for me tomorrow. So looking forward to the weekend ahead, and I hope you've enjoyed this whistle stop this evening. It's given you a taste for how I make use of this small space and why it's such a sanctuary for me. So until next time, thanks for watching.